User
our
was
guest
moved
comes
to your
all the way
channel.
from
Channel
Nashville,
moved.
Tennessee.
Changed.
The real deal.
The real deal. He's part of the Nashville Cowboy Church Band. Great
Yes.
singer-songwriter, Mr. Mike Dunbar.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that.
Well, how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. What we'll do is we'll let you play.
All right.
Pick out a song you'd like to do first, and then we'll get to find out more about you after that.
All right. Here's speaking of Cowboy Church, it's a true story about I was saved at Cowboy Church. I was saved at a Holiday Inn lounge, and they don't even never comp me a room or anything. They never do anything like that. But here's the story.
User entered your channel.
Well, I never found Jesus, he found me. I kept on hiding, but he could see how much I needed him. I was lost in sin. He found me at the bar in a motel lounge. A friend told him about me, so he came around and invited me to be set free. He showed me his scars, he showed me his love. He told me about a new home up above. He said I was okay, 'cause he already paid the cost. No, I never found Jesus, 'cause I was the one who was lost. Well, I never found Jesus all these years, pretended to be happy through all those tears. I cried for myself, I really needed help. I was hiding in a bottle with a bass guitar, like trying to hide the moon from the brightest star. You can't hide the night from daylight. He showed me his scars, he showed me his love. He told me about a new home up above. He said I was okay, 'cause he already paid the cost. No, I never found Jesus, 'cause I was the one who was lost. No, I never found Jesus, 'cause I was the one who was lost.
Very nice.
That's a true story.
Mr.
great
Mike
song.
Dunbar. Yeah, great job. Mike, we want to thank you for coming to the show. It's untraditional, like anything else you've ever seen, and you've already seen that for the pre-show, and we apologize.
Yeah, I lost the rest of my hair after that.
yeah. It went up in flames.
Now you know why I got the hair that I
It
got.
went up in flames, yeah. And that was another reference to a joke earlier. But we want to thank you, and we're going to apologize for the rest of the show coming up. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you a little bit, find out where you came from, what you've been. Our good friends, Chris, out there at heatfmmusic.com. Just great bunch of people out there spreading the word. We want to thank him for sharing us. So he's spreading the love on the East Coast. So we got a bunch of new listeners, what we've had in the past. So we're going to talk a little bit about where did you come from?
I come from Chicago.
Bless your heart.
I lived in what they call the hillbilly neighborhood.
Which is?
It was over on the south side of Chicago, by 35th and Halsted.
Really?
You used to hang out with bad Leroy Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was a roughneck area there for a while.
Yeah, I actually have scars from it.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I lived an hour and a half, 2 hours north of you. I was born in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, what part?
Right at the very Illinois-Wisconsin line called Beloit.
Oh,
You leave
Beloit.
Chicago, you go up, you go through Belvedere, go through Rockford, Illinois, and then you go right into my hometown.
We used to drive up there because the drinking age was 18. Then.
Yes.
You could buy beer for
And we used to stand in the
18,
state
yeah.
line and just whoop all you Illinois boys coming in there.
Come-
Get back to your own state, because it was 18 where we were at, 21 in Illinois. But the big cheese shop there, but yeah, everyone used to come up
the Brat Stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So we used to go to Chicago a lot.
Yeah.
Used to go down there. Some great music venues down there. Cool places to play. How long did you live in Chicago?
I lived there until I was 27 years old, and then I moved here.
Okay.
And I'm 66 now, so I'll let you do the math.
yeah, at least more than 10 years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, sound good. I didn't say I was bright in Wisconsin, but I can add a little bit. But so you moved for the music scene, or what brought you
Yes,
down here?
Yeah. Well, in Chicago, I taught at a school called the Old Town School of Folk Music, and I used to teach guitar and banjo, mandolin, and I also had a choir that I conducted
Okay.
there. And then right across the street, there was a little club there, and there was a band playing there from Alabama called Red, White, and Bluegrass.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were they had Norman Blake was in the band for a while, and they had a couple of hits. They had a couple of radio hits. And when the guitar player left, they called me, and so I moved down to Nashville, and we opened a club called the Pickin' Parlor. It was where the old Pickin' Parlor was. We bought it and opened a club. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life was opening a club, but we had a lot of fun. It was a really good bluegrass band. Had a whole lot of fun.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Now, you've played a little bit of everything in your career, right?
Yeah. I started out. I wanted to be Chet Atkins and Doc Watson rolled together. That's what I wanted to do, but I didn't have enough speed to do it. So, but from teaching all the time, I ended up having to learn a lot of different kinds of music. Because whatever people wanted, I'd had to deliver.
That's one of the biggest advantages of being a teacher. I teach drums, and it's the same thing.
You know,
so
the
I
same
mean,
thing.
you're dealing with people on different levels, and you're dealing with kids who want to play Tool, and you're playing kids who want to play the Beatles.
Sure. Right.
And so it keeps you on your chops, and I
Yeah.
think it advances us as players. I think anyone who is a musician ought to go and teach classes, give back. But you're going to find out you're going back to the basics, and you're going back to the beginning of music, and it just
never
makes you a
hurts.
better player.
Sure does.
So,
Sure does.
and you're right, more well-rounded because,
Yeah.
and I learned that early on. I played in my basement for years, and I played WLS out of Chicago.
Yeah, I had a
And-
song on WLS.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My band had a song.
What year? What time frame?
That would have been 1967. No. Listen to me. 1976.
Wow.
No, I flipped them around there.
I would have listened to what was the name of the song?
It was called The Medicine Show. And
Medicine
I had a band with a gal named Betsy Redhead, and we had the name of the band was Redhead because I had red hair then.
Okay.
Then I had white hair, and now I have no hair. I'm in a race with Jason over here.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's cool because I used to listen all the time to WLS. They were ahead of everybody else. Great DJs. John Rickards Landecker was my favorite.
Yeah.
But Larry Lujak and
Yeah.
Snot-Nosed Little Tommy in the morning when
Yeah.
they were doing the animal stories.
Yeah.
Classics.
Yeah.
I would sit in my car and laugh. Classics. But great radio stations. So I'm sure I've heard your song on the radio because I listened to it all day. Just like when I went to Indianapolis, heard Bob and Tom.
Yeah.
It was about the same thing. I listened to Bob and Tom all day. So how'd you get a song on there? Did you have to just submit it, or?
Well, here's what happened. Our band cut an album, and we used to play the Earl of Old Town.
Okay.
We played there with Steve Goodman and John Prine and them, and so we cut an album. And I figured we needed to know how to get this album out, and I thought nobody knew more about it than the folks at WLS.
Right.
So I called up the station manager, and I said I would just like to come in and ask you some questions. And I went in and I brought in our album. I said we got this album, and we're going to try and get out. I said, what should we do? Should we drive around and go to little radio stations, or should we, what should we do? He said, well, I'll tell you what you should do. You should do just what you did. He said, there are bands all over Chicago, and you're the first one to walk in and ask me about
Wow.
it. So he said, I'm going to put you on rotation. He listened to the songs. He said, I'll put you on rotation. So we were on rotation for about a month, and it was like
Wasn't that cool
got
to
us
hear?
a lot of work, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Wasn't that cool to hear your song on the radio?
Yeah, but they never paid me anything for it.
But it was still cool to hear it on there. So.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. I'm sure I've heard it, so that's great. Can we still get a copy of that? Is it in circulation?
No, the album's been out of print. Well, it was never released. It really escaped, is what it did.
Oh, okay.
But it's been out of print for a long time. But I know some people that might have some recordings of it, and
Yeah.
I'll try and send it to you. So
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. You came out of Chicago. You said 27 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Okay. You came down to
26.
Nashville. What was the biggest thing you saw the difference between Chicago music scene and Nashville? What really stood out?
Nashville is team players. Everything is about listening to each other, and that's why you can have a bunch of different musicians together that who've never heard each other. We did that just a couple of weeks ago. I did a bluegrass show, and I played with the banjo player, never played with any of the other guys, and we had harmonies, we had everything.
Right.
And in Chicago, you rehearse,
Yep.
and then you go out and you play.
Yep.
You know, and usually you got to do that because everyone's sort of listening to themselves.
Right.
You know.
I would agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
the North musicians are totally different than the South.
Yeah.
And I think when I lived in Indianapolis for 21 years, I got a cross section of that.
Yeah.
You got guys that you'd say take it, and they couldn't take it. They didn't know. They couldn't improvise.
Right.
The next night, you'd tell a guy take it and just
And you
buckle
won't
up.
give it back.
Yeah, buckle up because he's going for a ride.
Yeah.
And you know, you just kind of
Yeah.
just looked at each other in the room.
And
so it's just a mixed breed there in Indianapolis.
I suspect that it's changing now. I suspect that everything's moving together because
Right.
people they get on the internet and they learn things. They learn about ensemble playing,
Right.
things like that.
Do you think, because you're close in age that I am,
Yeah.
do you think do we have an advantage as musicians because we didn't have internet, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have?
No.
No?
Well, I think everybody has advantages and disadvantages, and if you ask people, they all think, well, we got it better or we have it worse than.
Right.
There are advantages to learning the way we learned,
Right.
and one of them is you have, especially if you're all by yourself and playing, you develop a little style of your own,
Right.
and that's one thing. But the other thing is things that I didn't learn until I was in my 20s. There are 8-year-olds now that blister me with it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's because they look on YouTube and it says put your finger here, put your other finger here, now wiggle this one, and
Yep.
and we didn't have that. We just listened to the record, and if we kept moving that needle too much, the record was finished.
Yep. Over
yeah.
and over, and then go buy another copy.
Yep.
Yeah. We learned tricks of the trade of that. But yeah, I see
Now,
that.
going back to what you were just talking about a minute
Yeah.
ago about the musicians in Nashville, one thing I found very impressive is Mike played on my album, along with a lot of the other Cowboy Church band members and a few others. And
Was he there the day I was there?
yeah, he was
I
playing bass.
I was the bass player.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
Now I remember. Yeah.
I thought you were familiar, but these days everyone looks familiar at my age.
Yeah.
Seen so many noses and ears and eyes, they all look
Yeah.
familiar.
I remember that because I talked. You were the one that charted everything out. He
Yeah.
played, you charted, and handed everyone the copies.
Yeah.
I went, that boy's real.
Yeah.
That's a real guy. 'Cause
Well, that-
he sits and charted, and then everybody had a copy of it right from then on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What was-
remember that.
What was amazing was nobody heard the songs but Mike,
Right.
and they hit record. They started at 9 o'clock. By noon, the musicians were done and out the door.
Oh, I know. I watched it. They were doing like one takes, maybe 2 takes tops.
Yeah.
But again, you're playing with guys. I mean, the keyboard player was from the Cowboy Church too, if I
Yeah,
remember right.
Bud
Bud.
Rawls. Just
Yeah, I
played with
mean-
him yesterday.
Yeah. So I mean,
What I
they're-
thought was funny about that, Bud sat right across from me in that little room. And, of course, Bud's very animated all
Right.
over that.
Yeah. Stands up when he plays.
When we did Athens, there wasn't much keyboard part to do, but there was a steel drum, and he put his hands on his chin and just looked at me and went, dong,
He'd hit the steel.
dong.
Hit the keys.
Yeah.
Hit the steel.
And I tried not to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to watch experience at its best. That's why it's tough to come down here and take those guys' jobs away because they are so good
Yeah.
and so smooth at what they do.
You have-
Again, Mike,
You have to
won
wait
that-
for them to die to get the
Yeah.
job. I stood in line for a long time. I used to say the Nashville number system. That's where you pick a number and you stand in line.
Yeah.
You know.
The,
I mean,
a good
that's-
friend of
'cause
mine
I
just
stood in line for a long time.
Well,
before
here's
it
one more example.
got work.
When Ashley's house from Northern Grits, when their house burned down,
right.
I brought the Nashville Cowboy Church band in. to help do a benefit concert. They played for each and every artist that was there. They never got off the stage, and they played song after song after song. Half was charted, half wasn't. So,
Yeah. Yeah, he's a true talent. And again, I was amazed when I walked out, going, "No, that guy's real. That's a real Nashville cat." Because just play what you're going to play, Jason.
Yeah.
And
Well,
all you're worried about that was the tempo, and made sure the tempo was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Get the beat down right. But Mike charted everything out. If you never seen anyone chart the Nashville number systems, it's really cool. It's just really cool to watch him work. And he wrote it down, made copies, just flipped it out to everybody. And 1, 2, 3, go. And they just went through and nailed it. That's the Nashville number system. That's a unique way of doing things, but it simplifies everything down too.
It's like 1, 2 minor, flat 7, 4, 2 minor, 5, 5 suspended, 5, 2 minor, 6 minor, flat 7, flat 7 with an add 9. C, that's 4, 1.
And there you go, everybody. We'll send out a review.
Real quick lesson right there.
Yeah. Real quick. That was good. Now, when I saw you were playing bass.
Yeah.
I see pictures of you playing upright bass.
Yeah, I play a lot of upright.
So, how long ago did you switch over to start playing bass, or that's something that just came natural?
Well, I played a little bit of upright in Chicago because they had one laying around at the school.
Okay.
And I would play with sometimes with the bluegrass people, but when I moved to Nashville, I'm a guitar picker, and just basically played. I played like Doc Watson. I'm not looking at my hands, folks. That's why I'm missing those. And my wife had a friend in college. When she moved down, we got married. And she had a friend in college whose husband was Henry Strelecki. Do you know who he was?
Nope.
He was the bass player. He was Chet Atkins' bass player for about 15 years.
Oh, all right.
And Henry used to come over to the house, and we'd sit around and drink a lot. and not a whole lot, but well, yeah, actually we did, but I'm trying to be nice to the guy. He passed away.
Yeah.
Wonderful man, wonderful. But we would get out the flat tops, and we would play jazz songs. We would read things out of the real book and play jazz songs.
Right.
And Henry said, I bet it bothers you, because you play a lot of guitar but you don't get the work. You feel like you should get more work. I said, yeah, that's right. He said, play the bass.
Yeah.
He said, and you'll always have work. And
Yep.
he was right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, everyone comes to Nashville. Who's singing? Was it Lovin' Spoonful? Sing Nashville Cats.
Yeah.
1,352
Guitar pickers.
Yeah. And there's a ton of guitar players down there. But again, I played open mic night at Prender's Alley.
Yeah.
I was the only drummer. I mean, they had the house drummer and me.
Right.
So you play as long as you want, and the same way with the bass player. They'd be 2 or 3 bass players tops,
Yeah.
and then everybody was a guitar player. Everybody was a front man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tell people, boy, play what you love. I mean, you got to go with what's in your heart. If you're a guitar player, you need to be a guitar player.
Now, what is it Joanne calls you, Dr. Boom Boom?
Dr. Boom Boom. Well, I'm not a doctor, but my wife is.
Oh, that's cool.
My wife teaches at Tennessee State University. Yeah, she's but I got the name from Steve Bivens. Steve he was the father of the chart reading bands. We used to, he had a band called the Pick of the Litter Band, and Chaz Williams was in the band. He's the guy that wrote the Nashville Number System book.
Okay.
And he wrote it because at one point we had figured out that those of us in the band had played over 10,000 charts cold. We'd figured out that we'd actually done it doing 4 nights a week, just reading songs. And so Steve, I used to make a joke. Someone would say, "Oh, it must be great to play music like that." And I'd say, "Yeah, how would you like to go boom, 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 boom all the time?" That was my joke.
Yeah.
So Steve tagged me with the nickname Dr. Boom Boom.
There you go.
You know, that's how I got it. And Joanne calls me that because it was Steve Bivens' band that became the first cowboy church band.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Mike, why don't you go ahead and play us another song real quick,
Sure.
and we'll get back into some more questioning.
Sure. You want a tearjerker? Or do you want?
Oh, yeah.
How about a song no one's heard?
Let's do
Nobody's
that.
heard yet. Okay.
Don't play the one we played earlier before you came on the show.
No,
That's-
I won't.
that needs to be edited.
Yes. There better be a very late night show if you're.
Yes, a real Midnight Madness show.
Okay, this is. I wrote this a long time ago with a fellow named Ralph Whiteway, and we never finished it because the bridge never worked. Ralph passed away, but great guy. He wrote Kathy Mattea's first hit, Street Talk. But this is. I finally worked out and got a bridge, and I've never played it out for anyone before. Take the dog. I don't want him. You're the only one he minds. And take the truck. It's your color. Blue like your eyes. Take the TV and my golf clubs. The furniture too. 'Cause there's nothing here for me if I can't have you. Take this ring from my finger. Keep it with the one you wore. And take the bed. You can have it. I can't sleep there anymore. And take my heart. It's yours already. Broken but true. 'Cause there's nothing here for me if I can't have you. If I can't have you, then I can't have none of these. And please take your memories. They'll just keep me blue. So take my heart. It's yours already. Broken but true. 'Cause there's nothing here for me if I can't have you. So take the dog. A good song.
Beautiful song. Beautiful.
I just found number 15 for my album.
There you go.
That's very nice. You got into Nashville. Did you do a lot of any playing on the Broadway thing to just kind of first get?
Yeah, well, when I moved here, playing on the Broadway, you had to carry a gun, you know. I mean, that was when Merchants, which is now a fancy restaurant, Merchants was a real gun and knife club.
Wow.
And there was Line Boss and Merchants and Demon's Den and Tootsie's, and Tootsie's was half empty all the time, and Broadway was Broadway was kind of there were some good players down there, but mostly it was like the alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
The alcohol place.
Yeah.
You know?
It's changed a
Yeah.
long
yeah.
time. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to come down a long time ago, and I've seen the change in Broadway. It's kind of like Rush Street
Right.
in Nashville or in Chicago.
Which changed in Chicago big time.
Right.
Well, and a lot of it is because the property values went up.
Right. Yep.
You know, I mean, places that were we had the Pick and Parlor, and across the street, a lot of these places were empty. Now that's Second Avenue.
Right.
I mean, that's the Wild Horse. We were across the street from the Wild Horse.
Yeah.
If we still had that club, I'd had little gold tips on my boots. You know?
Now, you and I were talking earlier before the show.
Yeah.
You started playing guitar and you did your first professional gig after a year.
Yeah. I played about a year, and I did that. That was, of course, back then. There weren't a whole lot of guitar players around. You know, it was a whole different thing. Now there's on every corner there's someone that's playing a guitar. You know.
And well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
I see the guys on the street with their guitar cases open playing better than some you're going to see playing at Bridgestone Arena, and you're going,
Right.
how in the world? How is this guy? And we all know. I mean,
The
times
internet.
have changed. It's
It's part of it. Yeah.
you know, it's not the talent you got; it's what's going in behind you, or how much money's pushing you.
You get the same thing with some of the singers, though. They got singers that sing better than what's on the radio.
Oh yeah,
half the time.
yeah,
Sure.
and a lot of them are on our radio station.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of them on our radio station.
Yeah,
we hear
yeah.
a lot of great players. I mean, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
definitely.
kidding.
Sure.
Yeah, our
I mean-
station has some of the best music around.
Oh, you'll hear some of the stuff that's on the radio station. I'm going to plug our station for a minute. Some of the greatest talent I've ever heard is on our radio station.
Yeah.
And I tell people, just listen to these people. Find out where they're playing. Get their. Brian has it where you look at our website, and it'll tell you the artist playing and the song they're playing. Well, look them up on Facebook. 95% of them have Facebook. Find out where they're
Or
playing
Twitter, or
Yeah, find out where they're playing, or go check them out if they got music on Spotify or whatever. Listen to these artists. I mean, some of these people are going to get blown away by. You're going to go, why are they not traveling? And some are on the verge, and some are probably some of the best names you'll never hear. They just don't have the money behind them or the backing or whatever. But
that's my
Please.
issue. I don't have the backing or the looks or the age or
talent.
I'm too country for
or,
Nashville.
You know,
Yeah, appreciate that.
yeah, that's all right. No, Jason, you listen to Jason's album. Jason's got a great album. Mike Dunbar's on it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so he's got a great album. It's catchy. He's got a lot of classic tunes on there. I like it. I got to witness half of it being recorded, which was cool. But yeah, music has changed quite
You
a
get
bit.
to be part of the next one.
Oh boy, I can't wait to put my name on that one. Boy, there's one of my resume. I made it to Jason's album. No, I kid Jason a lot. Jason's done a great job. If you ever get a chance to go see one of the Jason Adams shows, go out and check it out.
Well, I've been lucky enough to play on Cowboy Church 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah, and I love it every time. It's always great.
Well, now that my schedule's changed a little bit because of last couple of weeks worth of moves, it looks like I'll be able to free up my time. I keep saying I'm going to go down to Cowboy Church. I told Joanne
come on down.
and Harry that we'd come down, and the people that come here that's been on the show that go down there a lot. I keep saying we're going to go down, but
Let's just do it.
oh, let's just do it. Let's pick a Sunday, figure out the day.
Not this week.
No. Well, while we're there, that's a good segue. Tell us what's going on Sunday.
Sunday, this coming Sunday, live on our radio station will be the Vinyl Show.
The Vinyl Show.
Yes.
And what's the theme of the Vinyl Show?
It's a twofer.
That's a twofer. Now, I'm going to make an announcement.
Oh, yes. Big announcement.
And it's going to run all week. With the actual contest doesn't start
On Sunday.
I'm Jeffrey Bodine. We'll leave the light on. But Sunday during the Vinyl Show, throughout the day, we're going to be playing vinyl, and we're going to be playing suggested songs to tell you when to call in. But we are officially now part of a giveaway for the Bonnaroo.
That's right.
We are going to have WFMC Jams. We'll have 2 general admission wristbands and a parking pass, parking and camping, to give away. So this week we're going to tell you about it and start Sunday's actually the call-in. So don't call in now. Just start getting ready to call in on Sunday.
That
And
means you
throughout
have
the
to
day.
listen Sunday to
Yes.
find out.
You have to listen Sunday. We'll post it
Yes.
on our Facebook page and on the website. If you want a chance to win 2 tickets and a parking pass, you got to call in.
2 tickets to paradise.
2 tickets to paradise at the Bonnaroo, featuring U2, The Weeknd, The Flumes, Chance the Rapper, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So A lot of music
There's
out
much
there.
country on the list this year.
No, there wasn't a lot of country on the list this year. But check it out. But Sunday we'll make the announcement when to call in. We're going to take the first 3 callers every single time. Your name will be thrown into a barrel. And then throughout the day, we're going to tell you, if you listen and you hear a Red Hot Chili Pepper song, be the first 3 callers, your name will go in and toward a chance to win. Throughout the week, we'll have a little different contest going Monday through Friday. So all week long, you have a chance to call in at designated times and get a chance to get your name thrown in for the chance to get the tickets. On Saturday, we're going to do a Facebook Live. I think we go Facebook Live on our WFMC Jams Facebook page, and you'll see us draw the winner out as a designated time. That will be the winner. As far as we know now, it'll be what do they call it? It's not roll call. It'll be in-house. What do they call that when the tickets are waiting for you?
Roger Wilco.
No, when they're waiting for the tickets for you.
We'll
We don't
call,
mail it.
yeah.
Wilco.
Will call, yeah. They'll be there at the Bonnaroo for you. So we will let you know what's going on. So if you want a chance to win passes to the Bonnaroo, we are now an official station for that.
Now,
So,
this week's show is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be down to 1 turntable. So we will have to talk between each song as I queue up for the next
what
one.
happened to the other turntable?
Well, I have an $8 part that went out of it. There's a
Uh-huh.
little belt that runs the arm across that.
There it is.
And you can't use a rubber band?
No, it's too small. But I've got it on order, but
Uh-huh.
it won't be here in time.
Okay. Nothing we can find a part like that? Can pawn shop for $5?
Borrow my belt. I got.
Mike's got a
it looks
belt
like
on
little-
right
It
now.
looks like
Some
a
extra
little O-ring,
holes in
but I
it, I
can't
got-
find one the right size.
Okay.
Yeah.
A big rubber band, we can sure figure out something. Yeah, I hear you. So, but check it out. So, good news for us. We are going to be a giveaway, an official giveaway site for Bonnaroo wristbands. So I'm tickled to death. That's our first time we got to be on the Bonnaroo base there. So I like that. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, Cynthia, for getting those set up. I absolutely did nothing but tap my foot and pat everyone on the back. Thank you, because I did nothing for it. So
It's kind of like what you do on this show.
pretty much, I just talk. I don't do a whole lot. I just sit here and talk because you don't want to talk, and that's all I do is talk. So
That's right. You're good at it.
yes, or something. I don't know.
Mike, why don't you play us a song? Get him to shut up.
Yes,
Sure.
give us a tune. I did the Bonnaroo announcement, so we'll mention that one more time, and of course, it'll be on the Nashville Night Show too.
Okay, here we go. There's another. I wrote 2 songs with the fellow who I wrote the last one with, Ralph Whiteway. This is the other one. I listen to the stories you tell and throw a penny in a wishing well, wishing they were true, wishing you were too. Just because I play the fool, don't think I can't see through you. You don't treat me right, but you help me sleep at night with your alibis and lullabies. Sing me to sleep with your sweet lies. I pretend that I'm not wise to your alibis and lullabies. Well, I don't know which one is worse, the way you lie or the way it hurts to know I'm losing you. Till then I'm making do with your alibis and lullabies. Sing me to sleep with your sweet lies. I pretend that I'm not wise to your alibis and lullabies. Some night soon you lie alone, reach for me, but I'll be gone. I'll be be on the mend. All you'll have left then are your alibis and lullabies. Sing me to sleep with your sweet lies. I pretend that I'm not wise to your alibis and lullabies. Thanks.
Great song.
Thanks. Yeah,
Very nice.
good tune.
Again, we got a house full of people here tonight. Randy and Andy just ran off to take an errand somewhere, but we have Bob in the house tonight. We want to thank Bob. Bob's one of our
Bob, by the way, I love that song you wrote. You know, that Athens thing?
we love that Athens song
that
he
was
wrote.
good.
Yeah, Bob did. When I first met Bob, Bob was a pretty shy guy, but he's come out to. Yeah, Bob's come out
He
to.
started hanging around us, so we corrupted him.
Like, if they could do that, I could do that. Yeah.
What I thought was funny is when he come in and said, "Man, I wrote this new song. You got to hear it." He starts playing Athens.
Yeah. But yeah, Bob's a drummer by trade, right? You played drums a lot. Now you're from Oklahoma? Colorado. Ooh, sorry, I cussed. Colorado. Yeah, right here. It's the West. Yeah, there was war spot there. But so Bob's been, I don't know, he's been with the songwriter thing now for quite a while with us. Yeah, he's got a lot of good hooks, got a lot of good lines. And then fairly new to us, we got T. He's been following the songwriters. He's come down. He's been jumping on board. We want to thank T. Of course, these guys don't have any microphones, so you know I'm just kind of. They look good, man. They are awesome on the radio. I'm sitting next to the hillbilly heartthrob, our own new adopted brother, Mr. Jerry J. Thomas. Another great songwriter. A lot of his story.
What's really cool, if you don't mind me butting in, is when you write songs, you really appreciate other songwriters such as Mike, and
Right.
this is a tremendous show.
He is. Yes, he is. So you can imagine what was going through Mike's head when he walked in that first 5 minutes.
He was ready to leave right
He
there.
was trying to get out the door.
I think he had some baptismal water.
Yeah.
Get behind these, Satan. Yeah. That's your next line on your next song. Yeah. But we want to thank you guys for coming in and supporting the songs. You play at the Cowboy Church quite often. How long you been playing there?
Well, I started when they started out, and I did 5 years then, and then I was off. We were raising the kids. We sent the kids to a church school, so they instead of explaining to them why Daddy was going to a different church, we went there.
Okay.
And then when the kids grew up, I went back, and now they made me band leader. So I've been doing it for the last gosh, I can't remember. I think about 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Now, do
altogether,
you do anything else? You do songwriter events?
I do. Well, I used to host a bunch of different writers' nights. I hosted the writers' night at Douglas Corner for
Okay.
quite a while, and lately what I'm doing is I'm staying at home and I'm recording and playing where I record songs where I play everything.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
you
the-
can find those on my website. You know, can
songs
I
you
mention
sent
my
us, you-
website?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's www.mikedunbarmusic.com.
Okay.
It was, I thought I needed something catchy for the name.
That's pretty much bold.
Now,
right
the
to
songs
point.
that you sent us, though, you're playing every instrument.
Yeah, most of the ones I sent, I'm playing everything. Yeah.
So you're one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I can take my time with it and fix the mistakes, I can play anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't do that up live. Yeah.
Now, off air, Mike was telling me that was it last night or the night before you played with Joe Sun?
Yeah. Last night I played with Joe. Joe's son. Boozed, bombed, and busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe did that last time. Well, downtown tonight, I met an old friend, someone who I used to take comfort from long before I met you. I caught a spark in her eyes of forgotten desire. With a word or a touch, I could have rekindled that fire. Sing it, here we go. 'Cause old flames can't hold a candle to you. No one can light up the night like you do. Flickering embers of love, I've known one or two. Old flames can't hold a candle to you. Sometimes at night I think of old lovers I've known. I remember how holding them helped me not feel so alone. And I reach out beside me, and even their memories are gone. Like stars in the night, lost in the sweet light of dawn. 'Cause old flames can't hold a candle to you. No one can light up the night like you do. Watch it, guys. Flickering embers of love, I've known one or two. Old flames can't hold a candle to you. Old flames can't hold a candle to you. It was written by a buddy of ours, and Joe discovered that, and he had a deal that he was working as a song plugger for Monument Records, and he had a deal that if he broke a record for this band that was on Monument, they would put out a single on him. And so he broke Heaven's Just a Sin Away for the Candles. Yeah, yeah. And then after they had the hit with it, then he had to find a song, and he looked all over.
You know, I always thought that was wrong
You-
for a daughter and a father to sing Heaven's Just a Sin Away.
It's, you know, it's acting. But these days they couldn't do it. But anyway, a guy named Hugh Moffett wrote that song. He also wrote Words of 20 Paces for the Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, and he was a great songwriter and great singer. And his sister's Katie Moffett. You might know her. Yeah. Yeah, he's still around. He's still around, and Joe's still kicking. He's living in Florida. You know, he came back. We used to play. I was with his band for a while, and we played every third Monday at Brown's Diner in Nashville, which is just a little tiny place. You know, but it's a lot of fun. And it's musicians hang out is what it is. And when Joe moved to Florida, with his band, they asked us to just keep playing there. So I call the band the placeholders. You know, we got some great players. Pat McInerney on drums, and
Now-
yeah, you know Pat.
Now, you've played with some wonderful people through the years.
Yeah,
We'll let you do some name dropping. Throw out some names of some people you played for and with.
Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Tim McGraw, Connie Smith.
We're talking like real people, like
Yeah,
famous
yeah,
people.
yeah. These I played bass with all of them. Not in their bands, but I played on radio shows and shows. I used to work with Leroy Van Dyke, and he had a country gold show, and with him I played with a lot of them. I got to sing all the gold in California with the brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he wasn't there, so I got to sing that with him.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that was fun. It was fun. That and I Cowboy Church, I got to play with a lot of different people, and
You played with some great ones there.
oh yeah,
I mean, I saw some great shows from Alex Harvey
oh
to
Alex Harvey, wow, he's
T. Graham Brown to
yeah.
myself.
To you. Yeah.
Have you,
You've
have
been
you
down
talked
there
to
a lot?
Alex lately?
Last time I talked to Alex, it's probably been 2 or 3 months. He's down in
He's
Texas.
in Texas.
Right,
Yeah, he's
right.
in Texas.
I said,
Great song.
let's do a radio show. He said, I'm
Wow.
not in Tennessee anymore. I said, we can still do one over the radio,
Right.
the phone.
What a great guy! What a great
Yes,
guy!
wonderful
I've heard
guy.
about him when he was living still up on the mountain,
Yep.
and everyone talked about him, and then finally this guy showed up, with a shirt half up his belly and a
Right.
do rag on.
Yeah, yeah.
He comes up with this dog in the front porch. I'm like going, what in the world is this guy? He comes in and goes, hey, I'm Alex Harvey. I'm like, this is Alex
Yeah,
Harvey?
Yeah, yeah.
This guy wrote Reuben James and Delta
Yeah,
Dawn.
yeah.
And he's standing in my guitar shop, and I'm looking at him going, this is Alex Harvey?
You
He's
wrote-
got huge hits
Oh,
under his
yeah.
name.
Hell and High Water.
Yeah.
I mean,
And was just one of the nicest
Yeah,
guys
he
I got
wrote-
to meet. We came with a good friendship, and then he stopped at my store
yeah.
with his dog and said, I'm going to Texas for a while. If I ever come back, I'll swing back by and check you out.
There you go.
I was like, well, that's good. You can go, but you can leave your dog. He said, I think that's a song in there.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
put me on the hook. You know,
Yeah,
that's all I
yeah.
want to say. Kind of like what you had earlier
Yeah,
with a song
yeah.
like that. But so we hope Alex is doing well. What's
What I
next?
thought was funny, he was in a movie with Steven Seagal.
I've
Yeah.
never seen
And
that.
Stevens broke his nose twice in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, wasn't he in the same movie Mark Colley and all?
Mark Colley,
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Colley,
yeah.
and Ed Bruce up there.
Ed Bruce. Yeah.
Ed Bruce lives over in Monterey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I ran into Ed Bruce at Save-A-Lot in Monterey one time.
He was. I don't mind. I hope you don't mind me butting in there,
No,
guys.
no.
but, he was talking about T. Graham and Alex Harvey and Hell and High Water, and T. Graham's a great friend of mine, good personal friend, him and Sheila, and me and him just wrote a song a couple of years ago that we just put out on an album ourselves. It's called The Truth Don't Lie, and if it can just get about 1/10 as good as the Alex Harvey tune, Hell and High Water, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be one
yeah.
happy camper. You know?
Man.
Yeah, I was amazed. My wife and I went to Memphis one time, and there was a little side stop over there on the way to Memphis, and it had Tina Turner's museum over there. So my wife is a huge fanatic of Tina Turner, and we stopped in there, and they had a little museum, and they had the school that Tina Turner went to school in was there, and had it kind of made up like what it used to look like. But then they had a lot of her platinum albums and pictures and stuff. But on the inside, yeah, and on the inside, they have kind of like a tribute to, musicians around Nashville, Tennessee musicians, and some ones that we've all heard of. But I turn around and here's a whole big display of Alex Harvey. I'm like,
yeah.
hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Here's this. He had a guitar and a bunch of portraits and stuff up there. But sure, it looked a lot different in his portraits than he did when I saw
Oh
him.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of cool. He's a bigger deal than what I thought he was.
Oh,
And
yeah. He had a big rock hit. He wrote "Ring, ring, telephone ring, baby, come on in. I got James Taylor on stereo." Yeah, he wrote that.
yeah,
Yeah, he wrote some great stuff.
yeah, he's very talented and just a cool guy. So we wish Alex Harvey the best.
Yeah.
Randy just popped in. Here we got Randy and Awesome Andy. They're here checking out the part of the show. Are we close to 8 o'clock? So
We're
we can
getting
do
close. We can go throw a song in before we do the commercial.
one more song before the commercial.
All right.
So let's go ahead, Mike. Do another tune for us.
Okay. This is one I do at Cowboy Church a lot. I love me some Jesus, I tell you. When I talk about my Lord, it makes me want to shout. When I talk about my Lord, it makes me want to shout. I know that Jesus loves me, and that's what it's all about. I got the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. I got the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. I got the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. Let me tell you all about the man who'll change your life. Let me tell you all about the man who'll change your life. Once you meet my Jesus, you're gonna lose that storm and strife. You get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. You get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. You get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. Soon you will be meeting with the Father and the Son. Soon you will be meeting with the Father and the Son. They'll give you the Spirit, and then your journey has just begun. Yeah, you get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. You get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now. You get the heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie, heaven-bound boogie now.
Now, I've heard that with the Cowboy Church
Yes,
Band, and
yeah,
it gets
yeah.
really rocking in there. Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful part I like about music. Mike has played some stuff that half of us in the room have never heard. Half of us, you guys sang along and played with him. It's just cool how universal music can just touch us all. Whether it's gospel or it's country or it's bluegrass, you know, I love it when he was playing and people's heads are bobbing and nodding. Half of you were singing. The other half of us that didn't know the song were just nodding and tapping our toes. But I love that, and I hope that affected people. I hope that came across the air like that. I hope people are in their car or on their internet right now going, man, that was good music, you know, and find out how to get a hold of some of that. Find out where to listen to that at. Mike, you got music on your Facebook or your website page?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot? Now,
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
for free listening or you got
For
downloads?
Free listening. I don't have any downloads on there because a lot of it is by people that I've worked with in the studio.
Okay.
And when I work with people, I'll get on you.
Yeah.
When I work with people, usually I'll get them to sign a thing saying that it's okay for me to put one of their songs on my
You can put them
on
all
my
on as far
page,
as I'm concerned.
on my page.
Well, I'm
and
sure
I
she
promise-
sure looked good last night. He couldn't wait.
Yeah, I put them. Yeah. Anyway, I got a lot of stuff. A lot of music. That's all right. I can't.
What a bypass it, Mike.
I just slipped under the door on that one.
He's a seasoned professional in many ways. Yeah, I hear you. Sidestepping
I
the
know-
obstacle.
I do remember the second recording session we went in, and Mike says, "What do you want to do first?" I says, "Well, I don't care." He said, "Do this one." It was the dog bite song. He says, "I love this thing."
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song. And again, a lot of stuff on Jason's album is great stuff. Athens is a good song.
Yeah.
Dog bite song is a good one. That's co-written years before he met him. Years before he met. But
Yes,
you
you
can go on
did.
Jason Adams' Facebook page and website and check out, try to get his
Actually,
copy.
I will have a website soon.
Good.
I should have it within a couple weeks.
Okay.
It's
Are
being
you going to
built
be
as
able to
we
buy your
speak.
CD off of there?
I believe, yeah, I believe it's jasonadams.com or jasonadamsmusic.com, but I don't remember exactly which one it was.
Okay, well, you can give us an update as it gets closer.
I will.
So that'd be good.
I do believe that we're going to make it so we can download the music there and things
That'd
like
be good.
that.
Good. Yeah, it's a good CD. Make sure you check it out.
It's right next to the website, BMI Copyright Infringement Lawyers.
Yeah, yeah. Right next to that one, yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we're going to throw this over to Rock and Randy here for a second.
Well, thanks for being here. Gosh, it's going to be one of those nights where both shows got just fine musicians and the best of Nashville. And most musicians are night people. When you do the cowboy church, you've been doing it for a while. That's an early morning gig. Did that take you a while to get used to the getting in there? Not only getting up that early in the morning, but being stage ready and playing like you guys and gals do so masterfully up there.
I just stayed up.
Just stay up.
Go to sleep after church.
That's all,
So
I get up about. Normally, I get up about 6 in the morning. If I'm going to be playing late somewhere, I have to nap. I have to take a nap because I just wake up about 6 in the morning. So.
Now, one thing I do have to say about Nashville Cowboy Church, what I thought was amazing, the first time I went for rehearsal, you did about an hour before the show, basically.
Yeah.
And, of course, they're trying to run through everybody's stuff. They did like half a song and said, okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Half a song. Okay, this next one.
Yeah.
Get off the stage. We got somebody else coming.
Now, do you chart that out at the Cowboy Church?
I do a lot of the charting. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
the band leader, so.
Well, one thing I have noticed, since I did Spirit in the Sky on stage, they haven't asked me back.
Yeah. I wonder why that was. No, that was great. Everyone talked about it. They really got a big
What I
kick
thought
out
was
of that.
funny is I called Adolfo the day that morning, and I said, bring your effects pedal to church. He said, the Cowboy Church?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Yeah. Well, I went on tour with Charlie Allen back in August, and a gentleman, Pearlie, was
Pearlie Curtis.
Was
Yeah.
playing pedal steel for us.
Great steel player.
Great steel player. Great guy, too. He's a better guy
Yes.
than he is a steel player.
Yeah,
He's a monster steel player.
Yep.
But just a nice guy. And I got to spend 13 days with him on the road, and
Oh.
just a wonderful musician. But he was pushed to some extremes. He's playing with a guy who all of a sudden goes, hey, man, put a distortion pedal in that. And he goes, what? So he put a distortion pedal, and he played My Prerogative by Bobby Brown and did the guitar solo, pedal steel solo.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah.
I got a classic picture of all of us on stage, and you had to be there to know the moment, but it's a classic picture of Pearlie looking back at me, has this look on his face, and Charlie's looking over at him, and you can tell Charlie was just shaking his head going, he just nailed the guitar solo, the pedal steel solo.
Yeah.
But what a great guy, Pearlie Curtis. You
Yeah.
know. How long have you known Pearlie?
Gosh, I've known him since probably about in the 80s, 80s, late 80s,
Really?
something like that. Yeah, Pearlie he's the only guy I knew that he had a little gadget he put on his pedal steel, and it sounded just like a piano. He would play piano parts on pedal steel.
He's phenomenal. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
to sit
Great
down.
singer. Did you get to hear him sing?
No,
Oh.
never sang a lick.
My golly.
Wow.
Great singer. And
He's-
his wife is a great singer, too.
No, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've got great stories, off-stage stories with Pearlie and I, and they're all clean. They're
I
all
was going
good.
to say, you can't tell any.
Yeah, they're all clean. They're all good.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
But I mean, we walked out. We stayed in I think it was Mott, North Dakota, and we were walking outside. We were going to go across the street because he is a huge McDonald's coffee fanatic. Hates everybody else's coffee
Yes.
except McDonald's. Yeah, so he wants to go get a McDonald's coffee. Now he's from Maine.
Yeah.
I'm from Wisconsin. We're both cold weather blooded guys.
Yeah.
We walk outside, and it was like 30-something degrees out in August because we're up north. We walked outside. He goes, "Whoo, this is way too cold for me." He goes, "You just want to take the bus?" So we took the tour bus, our Prius bus,
Yeah.
literally across the street to go get coffee. It's like, okay, drive a $250,000 bus across the street to get a $1 cup of coffee. Yeah, it was hilarious. And then to finish the story off, finish the story off, we drove from McDonald's back across the street to Walmart and bought hoodies. You know? but yeah.
I'll tell you what, I was 38 Special. Me, we're up in Minneapolis several years ago, and I never figured out why booking agents send you up north during the winter time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's where they always were sending us, and it was like 10 degrees, and we were staying at a White's or a Knight's Inn up there,
Yeah.
playing the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome, the old one.
Yeah.
And I had gotten off the bus and went in and went to bed that night, and got up the next morning and realized I'd left all my clean clothes after I took a shower on the bus. So I put on my cleanest dirty pants, as Christopherson would say, and run out to the bus. And the bus wasn't from here, Knight's Inn, or from where the vehicles were parked out here.
Yeah.
At that time, I had hair down almost to my waist, and it froze solid just
Yes.
running from
Oh,
that
Yes.
room. And you have never heard any sailor ever invent nasty words like I did that day. I think I cussed all the way back to Florida.
No.
You know?
Now, Mike's from Chicago. We've seen some nasty weather. Were you there in '78?
I moved out after that. That's
Yeah.
when I got the call to move to Nashville.
Yeah, and you went
I
quickly.
goodbye,
Yeah,
goodbye.
yeah,
I
82
lived up
inches
in,
of
I lived
snow.
up in
Yeah.
Michigan for 5 years, Mike, and I couldn't take no more of it. I had to get back to Tennessee.
I did a tour for the Air Force up in Greenland, up
Ooh.
above the Arctic Circle,
Oh yeah.
and it was bel- very often the coldest spot on Earth. Very
Yeah.
often.
Iceland is all green, and Greenland is all
Greenland's
ice.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no trees on Greenland. in
Yeah,
Greenland.
my brother was stationed up there in Iceland.
was he?
In
Yeah.
Greenland, yeah. So, but we know what cold weather is. We know what shovel is. Did
Oh,
you have
yeah.
any school days off when you went to school? Did you?
No,
yeah.
no.
Thank you, Mike.
Snow,
People don't
big
believe me
snow.
that.
In 1967 they had about 30, 40 inches of snow, and we had that day off. And I went down to Old Town. I just got on the train, went down to Old Town.
Wow.
And then again, the winter of 78, 79. I think it was right around New Year's Eve
Right.
when it happened.
Yeah.
82 inches of snow in 2 days.
Yeah. We that year Wisconsin got 120. 120.
I don't remember that because I was
He wasn't
just
born yet. Yeah. Or he was just born. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people don't realize, but then I don't know if you had it bad in Chicago, but in Wisconsin, then we had the extreme heat. You know, in the
Yeah.
summertime, people don't talk about the heat up there, but it was very cold. We all know that, but it gets very hot, and of course, you had the Windy City.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We get over 100 degrees almost every summer. We get over 100 degrees.
oh yeah,
But not as many days as we do here.
right.
I used to have a girlfriend I lived with up there in Lansing, and and I do say that's a long word, used to.
Used
Just so in
to.
case my wife's listening, she knows.
used to.
But
You're better.
yeah, I want to make sure that's used, guys. But anyway, we went up to UP, and I know you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And had a cabin up there. Her family did, and we stayed in it. And it came down one year, and that's probably why she's a used to be, because she looked at me and said, "Are you going to get out and shovel snow?"
Oh, man.
And I said, "No, ma'am,
Nope.
I'm not." And she says, "Well, why not?" And I told her, "Well, God put it here, and I figure He's smart enough to know when He wants to take it away."
And that's usually about May.
Just a quick snowstorm story. Where I lived in Chicago, I lived right near Cubs Park, right near Wrigley Field.
Right.
And we walked out, and the snow was really terrible. And this guy comes up, and he had a Jeep, and he thought, "This is great. I can drive around this stuff." And he pulled up up over by the curb, and this guy comes running out of his house, yelling at him and screaming at him. He says, "What's the matter?" He says, "You're parking on my car."
Yeah. Yeah. Back in them days, you had to park on one side or the other, depending on the numbers. Were you an odd side of the street or an even side of the street? If you were on the even side of the street, and that was the day it's supposed to get plowed,
No, you were
they
finished.
snowed you in. You were covered. I mean, and that's it. So when he says people, climbed on top of cars, didn't know it was probably there, just thought it was a big snow pile.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen cars get buried in big snow plows. Sorry, buddy, we got to clear the roads off. But yeah, but you know what? We lived every day. We got through it. We talk about these monstrous stories.
Yep.
But
That's
oh
what's-
well.
It's there to give us stories.
Yes.
My dad drove a road grader, and I remember them telling a story about the blizzard of '78. And my dad finally, after 2 days, got out of the house and got to work, and he came and plowed out our driveway, which he wasn't supposed to do, but he did, and found our car.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got them up there
We
too.
had 'em too, yeah.
Yeah, we got them up
Yeah,
there.
well, I remember my mother come running in the house and pushed us kids in the closet, and
Yep.
she started praying, and boy, the windows were rattling, and across the street, it tore up the house across the street.
I mean, I remember I was in Rockford, Illinois, early '80s, and had the big earthquake that happened up
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, early '80s. I mean, that Midwest gets everything. It's not like no offense, but like out in Colorado, you see tornadoes coming from 4,500 miles away, and you're like going
Little
like,
dust devils, yeah.
how do
Yeah.
you not?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm sorry, the
Take
people
'em
in
home-
Florida,
take 'em
and of
home
course
with
our
you.
Florida guy took off, but you see a hurricane coming 7 days ahead of time.
yeah.
Wisconsin, and Illinois and stuff, they drop out of the sky right on top
Suddenly,
of you. You have no warning whatsoever. So. Yeah. Well, I think you guys got the bigger ones out there, Wyoming,
Yeah.
Colorado, Kansas. I mean, you guys get like these huge, monstrous ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
These
they
here.
look like a donut instead of a funnel. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
drop out of the sky, and they drop pretty
Yes.
fast on you, no warning. Randy, what you got?
Well, I want to ask about you're a band leader for the Cowboy Church, and you
Yes.
said in all the years of doing that, playing in bands, have you ever had anybody? They'll give you their chart, you're taught their music, they'll tell you it's going to be this way, then they get up on stage and it's completely different. Now, Mark, I'm sure you've had those moments too.
Many times.
Where
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I could
you
I
have-
could tell you some names. I could tell you some names. Alex Harvey, who do that sometimes, and
Subliminal. Yeah.
Well, I remember one time I got up there to play at Cowboy Church, and Bud kicked the song off in the wrong key. And he stopped. He goes, "Oh yeah, it's in G."
he had the capo on his piano. He plays everything in C and
Oh,
he
man.
moves it around.
Well, see, Mark, that's where the drummers have it easy, don't they? No matter what, you're in the right key.
Yeah, yeah.
I might be in the right key, but it's funny when you get up there and you got set song list. These guys are going, all right, we're going to do this song off my album. And the gentleman that played harmonica with you and I at the Fam Jam, we were playing with Johnny Moore, and they were going to do this song off his album and this. Just follow my album.
Robert
you know.
Allen.
Yes. Just follow this right down the line. So the night ahead of time, I chart out his songs. I've never heard a song before, but, it's pretty simple, pretty laid back. I chart off his songs. We played the first one. They turn around and go, hey, let's skip that. Let's go ahead and do this song.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, I worked for years with Razzie Bailey, wonderful guy, good friend of mine, and we will get together. He says we're going to rehearse, and then we would go in and we would rehearse, and he'd write out a song list, and we go somewhere, and there'd be 2,000 people in the audience, and he'd open the curtain. He wouldn't do one song from the list.
Yeah, yeah, been there, done that.
But the people loved. I mean, because he read the audience. He would read the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
He would think, no, those aren't going to work. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that.
I loved Razzie when I got to meet him, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
introducing me to him.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you ever
I
get
like
my
it-
record signed, by the way?
No, as a matter of fact, I thought I was thinking of driving here. I thought, one of these days. It's only been what 8 years or something.
Something like that.
Well, I thought one of these days I'm going to remember to take that record over to Razzie and have him sign it.
I was just making another note about train crashes on stage, but I love it when you get going and someone pulls one out of the crowd, like what you're saying Razzie did. All right, let's play this one because the crowd is into this.
Yeah.
And 75% of the band knows the song, but the drummer has never heard it.
Who was the drummer? Who was the?
Never heard it. So the one guy that's going to stick out like a sore thumb if you make a mistake. So the guitar player turned around and goes, it's easy. It's just straight country, no breaks, no nothing. Great. We all come in at once. So just count it off. It's about this speed. And he's snapping. So I go, 1, 2, and we're in.
Yeah.
And bless his heart, the bass player singing. Now, you're a bass player. You'll appreciate this because you and I need to be on the same page.
Yep.
He's playing and he's singing, and I'm like, there's something way askew here. Way askew. And he tuned me out, and he just kept playing. The guitar player played with him, and the guitar player that counted off for me turned around and goes, it's a 3/4 time. Would have been helpful if I'd have known that. I
Oh,
counted
yeah.
off at 4/4.
Yeah.
So I'm playing straight, 4, hitting on the backbeat, and bass player's doing, walking on the 3, and I'm like going, I can't hear it, I can't feel it. Then the guitar player turned around. It's 3/4 time. Great. Would have been helpful. So at least get the timing. If you're going to be
I would never do that to you.
no, intentionally. No, but awkward moments, but I love those. But why don't you go ahead and play us another tune here real quick?
Sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about 3/4.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll get it right this time. I've always called waltzes old-fashioned, and now I'm wondering why. 'cause they all seem so new. While I'm holding you, my heart beats in 3/4 time. This old honky-tonk is a ballroom, and your jeans are a fine satin gown, and my boots cross the floor like never before as we go spinning around. My heart beats in 3/4 time, and yours is in rhythm with mine. 1, 2, 3, while you're dancing with me, my heart beats in 3/4 time. I've always called waltzes old-fashioned until you showed me how. They could all seem so new while I'm holding you. I don't think they're old-fashioned now. My heart beats in 3/4 time, and yours is in rhythm with mine. 1, 2, 3, while you're dancing with me, my heart beats in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3, while you're dancing with me, my heart beats in 3/4 time.
Beautiful.
Very nice, Mr. Mike Dunbar, everybody.
Mike, I'm going to sit down and try to schedule a date with you for a Legends of Storytellers show.
Yes.
I think.
We'll explain to you off air what that is.
All
He's
right.
going, sure, go ahead and sign that up,
Yeah,
Jason.
sure.
Is it anything like what was on pre-show? But yeah, he'd be a great candidate for the
He's
Legends of Storytellers. But
Step into this cabinet.
yeah.
All right.
Well, Mike, it's been great to have you on the show. We want to have you do one more song before we close off tonight. But a couple of real quick announcements. Jason, who's our guest next week?
Buzzy Orange.
Buzzy Orange, the
Oh,
infamous
Buzzy
Buzzy
Orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
Been on our show several times, played at the Fam Jam a couple of times. He brings us a bevy of great talent.
Yes.
He owns a music school where he does vocal teachings, and then he's going out to New York to get that thing going up there I think one weekend or 1 week a month. But we'll get to hear more about it next week. But he was Warren Morgan's vocal coach.
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood, just to name a few.
This will be a little different for him because this is just him. He's not bringing a guest. He's
Right.
our guest himself.
Oh, yeah.
yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
it's a group participation show. Like I say, it's not like any other radio show. we whatever comes up, we
People
get
just grab the
everyone involved.
microphone and ask
grab a
questions.
mic and go in. But we want to thank you for being part of our show. It's been great to have you. Again, I knew you, but I just couldn't place you. And I heard the Cowboy
That was
Church,
it,
and
yeah.
all that should have dawned on me. I met you at the recording studio with Jason Adams that night. I was very impressed then, very impressed now.
No, he's played with a lot of people, but his yeah, that's what I was going to say. He got to the bottom of the barrel when he grabbed me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But again, we want to thank him for coming out. We want to thank Chris out there at heatfmradio.com. Thank you for spreading the love out there on your stuff. If you're listening to Chris's radio station, make sure you like the page, share the page. If you're listening to our page, make sure you like it and share it. There's music on it 24/7 all the time. We got several live shows throughout the week, 2 on Wednesday or Tuesday nights. Then we do the
Commodore every Sunday.
Commodore every Sunday. Brian's up there in Nashville. And so that's always a good thing. And I've got a comment on Facebook, and again, we appreciate the comments on Facebook from Tim Webb. Says, hello, thank you, Tim. Thank you for jumping on the Facebook page, showing us that you're out there. We don't have the phone lines hooked up yet. We think one more week and we'll have the phone lines so you'll be able to call in. So check us out. We got this Sunday, we got the vinyl show coming up.
That's right.
Where we are going to start doing the contest for the Bonnaroo giveaway.
Now let Razzie know I'll play 2 of his songs back to back this Sunday.
All right.
Maybe he'll listen.
There you go. So we'll explain more on the Facebook page, but check it out. We are officially on the list to give away wristbands and parking pass for the Bonnaroo this year. So find out more on our Facebook page and website. Keep you up to date. But the actual contest starts this Sunday. We'll tell you what you need to do and how to call in and throughout the week. So it'll be a lot of fun. Jason, anything you want to add?
No.
Like a true songwriter.
Hey,
no.
When I write with these guys, I get 2 words and I get my name put on the song. I love it that way.
Yeah. Piggly Wiggly. I think
that was actually Andy's line with the Piggly Wiggly Queen.
Andy's line. Oh, Andy's taking credit for that.
The Piggly Wiggly Queen and the Melons was all Andy.
Oh, Andy. Andy came up with that? I am shocked. Wow, Andy, you're like church choir boy, man. I'm shocked. Not anymore. He's been with us.
That's like poor old Bob over here. We corrupted him real quick.
Yeah.
My wife.
So
when
poor old.
when she heard that song, I'll say this: she knew which line mine was.
That's funny. That's funny.
Mike, you'll have to leave
That's a
before they play
song.
that
That's a
song.
song.
You'll have to leave. Well, why don't you play us one more song? Tell us a
Sure.
little bit about it before you head out.
All right. This is I found some old cuts that I'd done years back of songs that I wrote that were terrible, and so I rewrote. I rewrote but the music was pretty good, so I rewrote. And I rewrote the words to them. This is one of them. It's time for jubilation, so meet us at the station. We'll all be headed home on the right track. It's such a joyful feeling that sets your heart a-reeling. We're going, but we ain't coming back. We're on the Jesus train, gonna ride off with the Lord. We're on the Jesus train. Hallelujah, all aboard. Get on the Jesus train. Where the engine's climbing higher, we'll be filled with desire to look upon the great Creator's face. Just listen to that whistle. This ain't no coal or diesel. This train's running on amazing grace. We're on the Jesus train. Hallelujah, all aboard. We're on the Jesus train. Come on now, get on board. Get on the Jesus train. Get on the Jesus train. Yeah, the Jesus train.
Great job, Mr. Mike Dunbar, everybody. We want to thank everybody for coming out to the one and the only, the Family Music School, now at 111 South Spring Street here in Manchester, where it's always sunny 72, except for today. It was 172. It's not even June yet. I was driving down the street and actually saw a cow just combust. Bob's in shorts. You know, the rest of us, no, there's a couple of them in shorts. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let Mike rewrite them. There you go. I got one.
I've got a lot of them.
I didn't write the song. I didn't write the song, but the one song I really liked the music to, which was based off of, it's actually on our radio station, Airplay. Mark Colby and Merge. Song called Without You. It actually made it to the Rockford radio station, local radio station. We were the #1 song for 4 days. 4 days. We were rocking, buddy. I'm telling you. Now, it wasn't WLS, but it was, I can't remember the call letter of the station, but what's that? all I know is that I was in my '66 Mustang driving on the road, and then I heard it on the radio, and I'm like, we're on the radio, and for 4 days, But the lyrics are terrible. They need to be written. I love the music, but the lyrics are terrible. So maybe we'll give a project to Mike. Maybe he can turn it around a little bit. Great storyline, but a terrible song.
I love you, Grandma.
Yeah, I love you. Well, the premise of the song was the guy was raised by his grandmother. Mom and dad were alcoholics. I physically watched them beat the crap out of each other. I mean, she gave the old boy bloody nose and black eyes as much as he did her. Watched them beat the crap out of each other. Then sit down, drink some beers, and round two, let's get ready to rumble. And they'd go back at it again. So my buddy would go downstairs, and he'd just go in his little cubby hole, and he'd write songs, and he'd play music, and it's his way of escaping. So we started a little band called August Heat. We played around the area. And then he got someone to back him on one song, and it was about his grandmother who raised him, basically. And we sang the song, and it's really cheeseball, corny, like, 7th grade writing. Music was really
That's
good.
half my songs.
Yeah, the music was really good. But then at the very end of the song, when it did this final big, ending there, the music starts to die off, and then he goes, "This is for you, Grandma." And everyone would break out crying. Oh, and that's sweet. So it was probably a novelty part at the end, why we were the #1 record there for 4 days. But it's a great song. I'm glad to be a part of it. Hey, I was on vinyl, 1978, 79, something like that.
That's my goal for the next album. I want to do the next album and then take the best of both albums and do vinyl.
Right.
A greatest hits type of thing.
You could probably do a 45. That's going to happen. But
you understand. Yeah.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and close the show. Randy's got his guests out there waiting on us, but we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the one and the only Mr. Mike Dunbar from the Cowboy Church. I am Mark the DJ Doctor. For Jason the Hillbilly Heartthrob.
That's me.
I was going to go so many different directions with that. And for everybody else in the room, and Brian, our IT guru down in Nassau, putting us on, we want to thank you all very much for listening. Make sure you like our page. You like Chris at heatfmradio.com.
I'm really not a heartthrob, but I play one on the radio.
Yeah, I use that line, too, when people go, what's going on? I said, well, you ought to put a Band-Aid on it. I'm not a doctor, but I do play one on the radio. So with that, I am Mark, the DJ Doctor. We want to say goodnight, and thank you. We'll see you next week.
Hey.